Welcome to our training, the 3 secrets to living in flow, accelerating and amplifying wealth in all of life without sacrificing your health or time with loved ones. And I'm super excited to be sharing all of this information and this powerful session with you this evening. And thank you so much for, just sharing your time with me. And in this workshop, I'm going to reveal to you my formula for achieving greater wealth and impact with less stress, time, and sacrifice. Raise your hand if you would like to do that, to achieve greater wealth and impact with less stress, time, and sacrifice. I think that was, one of my biggest epiphanies going through this process is that it doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to take up all of your time. And I can't wait for all of you to experience that as well. So stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to be gifting you a quantum shift guided meditation download. This is a really special meditation in that it actually creates a deep level shift. It's not just, a relaxation. It creates a change inside of you. And this is something that you can download to any device, listen to anytime, anywhere. And remember or write down right now this phone number, 303-557-1258. Text "still here" to that phone number, and we're going to send you the download so at the end of the training. Awesome. Debbie's raising her hand. I love it. All right, and turn off all distractions. This really is your time for yourself. You deserve it. You're worth it. So let's settle in. And you know that you're in the right place if you believe that wealth is about more than money. And you can raise your hand or say yes in the comments if you resonate with these things that I'm sharing. And just confirm that you're in the right place. So you're in the right place if you have already studied the strategies to manifest abundance and to build your wealth. And now you're ready for the journey to be easier and to be more fun, because, the strategy is just the beginning. You can utilize any strategy really and increase your abundance and increase your wealth. But if you don't have the other part, the strategy is 20%, 80% is what's behind the strategy, 80% is what's on the inside. So that's what we're working through tonight. And you're ready to take the inner game of wealth to the next level, which, as I said, that's the 80% that makes the biggest impact. So I've been helping high achieving leaders to live in flow and grow their impact for the past decade. I specialize in optimizing energy and the mind for ultimate success. And I use proven methods that are fast and effective. And I discovered this process out of necessity. I was really stretched way too thin. I'm a high achiever and super ambitious. And when I had children, I didn't let go of any of that. In fact, I stepped it up because I said, I'm going to be the absolute best mom that I can be. And I thought that meant working harder. I thought that meant spending more time on things. I thought that meant sleeping less, putting more energy into it. And what I found was that I was really getting burnt out. I was working too hard. And I hit a wall, and I really hated who I became. I found myself yelling. I found myself really snapping. I didn't have any patience. And my relationships were crumbling. They were falling apart. And I knew that, I was not willing to put up with those results. That's not the person that I envisioned myself being. And I was not willing to put my family through that terrible behavior that I was displaying. And this is so common. Pretty much everybody who comes to me for help is experiencing something like this, where they don't like the way that they're reacting. They feel like they don't really have control over their reactions, and they act on impulse without wanting to, and they don't like those things. They see a better version of themselves, that they know that that's available to them. And so they come to me for help with that. And that's what I sought out as well. And I trained under masters and practiced hundreds of hours to develop the system so that I can make the impact that I wanted to make. I always knew since I was a little girl that whatever I did with my career, whatever I did with my life, would serve the world. I was committed to doing something that improved humanity. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice, my family and my relationships and my own health. And so I developed the system for me first and foremost. And when I saw the results, I knew that I had to get it to as many people as possible. And through that process, I healed my body. I upgraded my marriage. My kids' behavior improved in response to the energy, which is amazing. If you have kids or if you have pets, then you know that your children are often, or your pets are often a reflection of your energy. I have a puppy right now, and we've been doing an experiment, and he's a cattle dog, which are super high energy dogs, and they can be very reactive. So we've been doing this experiment where every time we approach him, let's just approach him very, very, very calmly and just very gently pet him and just go into almost a meditative state when we're around him and see what happens. And just like that, he changes. He is the most calm dog. You would never know he's a cattle dog. And this is what it's like. And it's very helpful to be able to have that influence and that leadership on yourself so that you can show up in any state that is required with any situation that arises. And every part of my life flourished, as I healed and as I really gained this mastery inside of myself, everything responded and improved because of those changes. And it continues to get even better day by day by day because I continue to utilize the system. I continue to do this work. So flow is when your heart is open and it's free of fear. Flow is that state where you have clarity to see the opportunities in the answers. And flow is where abundance comes very easily. It almost feels like, what is happening? Where is this even coming from? Because you're receiving more than you're seemingly putting out. And sometimes it even feels like, oh my gosh, is this too good to be true? Am I cheating? But that's just when you know you're in flow, because abundance is our natural state. And our natural state doesn't take effort. It doesn't take effort to be who you really are. And flow is vibrant energy. Flow is, it's one of the top level states that you can be in. So when you experience these things, you know that you're in flow. Flow is vibrant relationships. It's when you're most connected to source. And it's when life just feels easy and you can relax and you can ease into everything that you're accomplishing and the impact that you're making, and you trust. And there are some things that take us out of flow, things like fear, resentment, shame, and limiting beliefs. And these aren't necessarily things that we're conscious of. There are things that are happening beneath the surface because, our subconscious mind is at least 95% of our mental processing. We are not conscious of 95% of what's going on in our brains. It's only that 5% that we're really aware of. So these fears, resentment, shame, limiting beliefs, these are all things that are working. They're systems that are working deep beneath the surface. And so we experience this flow and it feels great. It feels awesome. And then all of a sudden we snap out of it and it's like, what happened to the flow? Why am I suddenly struggling? Why does everything suddenly feel so hard when everything felt so good? A big part of it is these things here. Now, I want to just be really clear. I'm not trying to share a delusion that everything, when you're in flow, that everything's going to be perfect all the time. That is absolutely not the case. There are going to be, cycles, and there are going to be dips and valleys and highs and lows. But when you're in flow, those dips and valleys, they're not as deep. And it's easier to stay in those high points. And when you go into the lower points, because you're in flow, you have the trust and you have the faith and you have that high vibration where you don't really care that you're in a dip. You just understand, oh, it's just a dip. It's just part of the cycle, and you just move forward. So it doesn't become as big of a deal. So the opposite of flow is resistance. And resistance, you're in resistance when you're worrying, when you have anxiety, when you feel that burnout coming or you're in burnout, when you're struggling, when you feel like you're forcing, when you feel like you're working too hard. It's like, let me know in the comments, what are some other signs that you're in resistance? When you're in pain, when you're experiencing day-to-day pain, either emotional pain or even physical pain. You're in resistance when you're experiencing illness. Flow is a state of harmony. And when you're in flow, your body is able to be in its most natural state, which is vibrant health. So when you're in resistance, you are more susceptible to illness and to your body being out of harmony. Debbie says, yes, when you're stuck, you're in resistance. That's the most classic form of resistance, is being stuck. So who here can relate to feeling stuck right now in any part of your life? And how you do one thing is how you do anything. So if you are stuck, say in relationships, or you're stuck financially, or you're stuck with a health problem, well, if you're stuck there, then you're going to be also stuck in some other areas on some level. So it's really important to remove this resistance so that you can free everything else up. You're in resistance if you find yourself overthinking, if you have a hard time quieting your mind or settling your brain. So I want to share with you my secret formula. It's not so secret, but it's fun to think about it as a secret formula. I'm going to take you through these steps of unlocking, releasing, and self-care. This is that formula to creating flow, into living in flow all the time, and being able to access that whenever you want. So the first secret is unlocking your subconscious and cells to gain access to the resistance. A lot of people, we were taught to think positive, to avoid the resistance. Like, don't talk about resistance, you're going to attract more resistance. But you kind of have to look at it. You've got to be with it. You've got to be present with it in order to really rise above it. Just because you're not talking about it doesn't mean that it's going to go away. And actually, it's going to make it even more. The more you avoid it, the more powerful it's going to be in your life. Emotions and beliefs are stuck in your subconscious and in your cells. So as an example, I'm trying to think of which one. I've got a ton of them coming into my mind right now. So this is something that I like to share is I had a rash that was around my eye, and I had no idea what was going on. I'd never experienced anything like this before. And I had this for months, and it was growing and growing and growing. And I really tried everything. I tried changing my diet. I tried all kinds of lotions and salves and, remedies and over-the-counter things, and nothing was making an impact. In fact, it was getting worse. Even as I was doing these things that should have, on paper, it looked like it should have worked. And so that was a sign to me that, okay, something energetic is going on with my eye and with my skin, because nothing that is supposed to work is making any impact on this. So I know it's something bigger. And so what I did is I used my signature process, the energetic emotional release technique, to remove an emotion from my skin. And what I was holding on to in my cells, in my skin, was anger. And I ended up having anger from when I was 2 that I had been holding on to in my body, and it was trying to release from my cells. So that's like a really specific example of how this can work. And you can take any illness and um, and look at what is the underlying emotion that is contributing to that illness, and also beliefs. You can look at any result that you are not seeing in your life, or any way that you feel stuck, or any obstacle that you have, and look at what are the beliefs that I'm holding in my subconscious mind that are causing these behaviors that are contributing to these results. So everything comes back to our emotions and our beliefs, and we hold on to those things in our bodies and our mind. And energy is the key to unlock these. Energy is a system like the circulatory and the nervous systems, and they impact your mind and your physiology. So, what you're seeing in your body and what you're seeing all around you in your life is a direct reflection of the energy that you're holding inside. And you can utilize energy, life force. I think that might be on the next, yes, it's on the next slide. Life force is a very high vibrational energy. It's the energy of pure love, and it creates a natural state of relaxation and spiritual connection. So when you bring this life force into your body, you're elevating your vibration, and you're creating a state of love inside of your body. So suddenly you incorporate this love into your body, into your subconscious mind, and you start to see things change in front of you. Your body starts to change, your relationships start to change, your bank account changes, the way that you show up changes because of this energy that you're utilizing in your body. And the body and the mind naturally open as you incorporate the life force. Your body and your mind open to reveal what has been hiding in plain sight. Now, a lot of people are scared of what is inside of them that they've been avoiding. They're nervous about having this heightened awareness because they're nervous about what they might find. And wherever you are, some people here, may have already had a lot of that awareness. Maybe you don't have any of that awareness yet. And whatever you're feeling, I want to reassure you that this is a safe process. That actually, when you recognize and you honor the truth, everything, the whole truth, the good, the bad, the ugly, I don't think any of those actually really apply. I think it just is what it is. And it's all part of the process. You're going to feel a sense of relief and freedom, regardless of what you find out, regardless of, what kind of awareness you develop. You're going to find relief, and you're going to have a new sense of freedom. And that new sense of freedom is going to allow you to be more creative, to create more abundance in your life, and to attract the things that you really want. Because as long as it's hiding, it's creating a block inside of you. Number 2 is releasing the root of your resistance. So once you've utilized this energy to open you up, to open up your body, to open up your mind, then you have access to go down deep and release that root of the resistance. So remember, your thoughts and your behaviors are just symptoms. What most of us are taught with personal development, and even with a lot of healing type practices, are to control or to manage our thoughts and our behaviors, to have more willpower, to have better habits. But the thing is, those are all symptoms of something bigger. They're symptoms of fears and limiting beliefs. These fears create the negative thoughts. The limiting beliefs create the sabotaging habits and behaviors. So if we're just trying to manage the things on the surface level, then we're always going to be trying to catch up and we're always going to be behind the forces inside of us that have the greatest momentum, and it's going to really drain a lot of our energy. And the sabotaging thoughts and behaviors, those restrictive thoughts and behaviors, are going to continue rising up to the surface. So that's why it's so important to go down deep to the base of that iceberg and release the root of that resistance. So as you release the resistance, you're making space for love. And remember, love is the flow. Love puts us into that flow state. Your heart opens, you gain the clarity that you need, and you naturally manifest the things that you want. And the last secret is self-care habits to maintain your flow. Now, what's really interesting is as you open yourself up and you gain access to that root and you release the root, you're naturally going to want to take better care of yourself. So really, when I add the secret in, it's something that is a natural byproduct of the first two secrets, but it's good to be aware of it so that as you go through the process and you get to that point of, it's part of the inspired action that happens after you make that deep level shift, that get prepared, prepare yourself to start taking better care of yourself. And when you know that's coming, then you're going to recognize certain thoughts, you're going to recognize certain impulses, and you'll have this impulse to, start shopping differently, to start buying different foods. You might have the impulse, for example, I did a massive release for my body. I had a block. I honestly don't remember what specifically it was, but it was some kind of a block that I had with my health. And I released that block, and suddenly the next day, it was almost like I was pregnant. You know, when you're pregnant, you have all these like strange impulses. You don't know why you're doing things. You just do them because you're instinctively drawn to them, like nesting and some cravings and things like that. So the next day I woke up and I immediately started planning out this supplement protocol that I was going to do. I started planning out this diet and this exercise program that that I had never been really motivated to do before, but I got this wave in this burst of motivation, and I put it all into place. And I had been resisting these things for a very long time. And suddenly after this release, the very next day, without any effort, I didn't plan this at all. It just happened. And I put it all into place, and I have not had any trouble being consistent with this process because I had done that inner work to release the resistance that had been holding me back. And so the conscious part that I utilized was trusting. Okay, so I didn't have to make myself take care of myself. That part was easy, but it was trusting that impulse. It was trusting the inspiration that had come to me, and to actually move my feet with the trust. So that part, this last secret, it's more sharing this with you right now, so that you know what's coming, so that you can be ready to trust these new thoughts as they come up for you, because you're going to have a whole new programming. So these are best self-care habits. There's a wide range of self-care. We're not talking about going out and getting a pedicure. Even getting a massage is like, borderline, because a massage doesn't really go deep. It's still taking care of yourself, but it's, I'm talking with self-care, I'm talking about things that you can do every single day and make it a part of your lifestyle. So the best self-care habits are going to help you to maintain flow. They're going to help you to deeply impact your body, mind, and spirit. So they're going to touch on all of those things at once. They're going to be enjoyable and fun so that you want to do them every day. They're going to be simple. Like, we don't need to make this complicated. We can make it simple and easy. And sometimes the most effective solutions are the simplest solutions, and they can be done anytime, anywhere. You want to eliminate as many reasons that this could go wrong as possible. So my favorite self-care activities, and this is what I recommend to all of my private clients, and this is what I teach my students in Recharge, is quantum activities. And these quantum activities will help you to live in flow. All you have to do is do the activity, which takes just 20 minutes per day or less, and you're automatically in flow. And what's amazing is, try doing these things before an important meeting, or on the day of, of course you're going to do it every day, but you can do like a little bit extra. Or if you forgot to do it, then do it, and then you're going to see a very stark contrast. It's like all of a sudden you get into flow and things start feeling easier, and things start coming to you. You get the clarity that you need, you get the inspiration, the motivation that you need. And when you utilize these quantum activities, it's different from other things. Like when you're in a conventional meditation, when you stop meditating, you're going to feel that relaxation for a little while, but it's not going to carry you for like the rest of the week. And with these quantum activities, the results stack and they last really forever. Like every time you do an energetic adjustment, you will have that shift inside of you for the rest of your life. And every time you do an energetic adjustment, you're just bringing yourself a little closer, a little closer, a little closer. And they do stack so that the more you do, the faster you progress. And actually, the less time you need to spend doing them, because you create like a muscle memory inside of you to where it just doesn't require as much. And it's like you start automatically doing it without even consciously engaging in it. So these quantum activities are energetic adjustments, which is like amplified meditation, utilizing the life force energy, energetic emotional release technique, which specifically works to reprogram the mind and release emotions and energy from your body, and quantum shift meditations, which, as I said in the very beginning, I'm going to send you one of these downloads to be able to try it out for yourself for free. And these quantum shift meditations utilize a combination of both. They utilize energetic emotional release technique, and they utilize life force energy to really make a deep level shift and to release any resistance that you have been holding inside of you. And these activities, the whole thing is just 20 minutes per day, or as I said, it can be 5 to 20 minutes, but I like to say 20 minutes because it's a good idea to make a habit of blocking those things off every day. But if you only, do it for 5 minutes, you're still going to get amazing benefit. So when you master your energy, you master your life, because energy is the very essence of everything inside of you and outside of you. And it all starts with the energy. So when we put our focus here, instead of the surface level things like the thoughts and the behaviors, then we see everything change in our life. So who would like to really master your energy? Raise your hand or say yes in the comments. Yay, Nikki. Nikki's a Reiki master. So she has already embarked on that path. So let's see. So at this point, and awesome, Emmy raised her hand as well. Beautiful. So we've really got two options, and we can make a conscious decision. And I feel there's not a whole lot more powerful than making a conscious decision, because there's so many decisions that we make unconsciously, and it puts us in that reactivity. So let's make a conscious decision. Do we want to continue on a path of resistance, or do you want to take the path of love and live in flow? So really think about that. It'd be easy to say, well, of course, too, I want to live in flow, but really think about, do I want to continue on a path of resistance? And you have an option here. You can make a choice. So this is a pretty big shift that people make when they start to take this path of flow. And I know when somebody is not serious about getting transformational results, when their first question they ask is, okay, what is this going to take? Like, oh my gosh, how much time am I going to have to spend on this? Like, what am I going to have to do in order to make this happen? When that is the first question, then I know, well, maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe they're not totally serious about this yet. And you're ready for this transformation when your first question is, how do I get started? Because really, it doesn't matter what it takes when you are committed to getting the results. So really check in with yourself right now and ask, am I really ready? And am I ready to embark on a journey that is going to make my life a whole lot easier in the process? So recharge is the path of flow. And that's what the whole thing is all about, is removing those blocks, removing that resistance in order to be in the space of love, to be flowing love in all parts of your life, and to be in flow. So there are a few different ways to work with me. We can do private sessions, which are $10,000 a year, where I facilitate transformational sessions to help you to meet and exceed your goals faster and more easily. This is like, we work very, very closely together, and there is work that you do on your own. But I personally facilitate these sessions, and there's a waiting list for this. So I'm really not taking on new clients to do this, but that's one way to work with me. The other way is with the Recharge program. And this is where I teach you the system to access your flow anytime, to be able to help you to meet and exceed your goals faster and more easily. So to be totally honest, people who do Recharge get the same or even greater results than the people that work with me privately, because they do this for themselves. They are, they're able to access this anytime. They don't have to wait for a session with me. They do this on demand as needed. They do this that 20 minutes a day to create these incredible results in their lives. And that way is just $997 or $97 a month. And there's an awesome discount that I'm giving people who do the payment plan. So it's just $7 for the first month. But right now, this is the third way that we can work together, is in this session here, I'm going to walk you through an inner game upgrade session.